Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to another Live and Lee show. Delighted to be joined by one of my trusty co-hosts, Trudy Carmody, this evening. Trudy, how are you?
I'm good, John. How are you?
I'm in great form. Great form, yes. Viewers, we're joined by a wonderful, wonderful, talented couple, an Irish-Swedish couple, Caroline and Robert Twamley, or is it Twamley?
Yeah.
Yes. Now, Robert,
not
looking
the
at
easiest
you.
of surnames to pronounce, Tom.
What's that?
It's not the easiest of surnames to pronounce. Twamley.
Well, it's an unusual surname, but it's a Kerry surname. Well, you have a Kerry background.
Well, actually, it's Dublin Wicklow. My grandfather was a guard that was posted down there to Limerick and then to Kerry. That's how the name ended up down there. Yeah.
Yeah,
because I've never heard. I'm from Dublin, and my husband is from Wicklow.
Okay.
And this is the first Twamley I've come across.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I'd be interested. I'll keep an eye out from now on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's another Twamley up in Stockholm, actually, believe it or not. And I thought, you know what? If it's rare in Ireland, I'll definitely be the only one in Sweden. And I Googled it, and there's another guy up in Stockholm.
But you're one of a happy few. You're a merry band. You're rare, something that's rare and precious. It's and of course you were born in Tralee, correct?
No, John, I was born in Dublin, and we moved to Tralee when I was 5 or 6 years of age.
Okay.
Because my mother was from Tralee, and as you know, they normally get their way, you know.
They do. Yeah.
Hence the move to Tralee.
Hence the move to Tralee. When love kicks in, isn't that right, Caroline?
Yeah.
Well, I'll put it this way to you. I'm living 1,000 meters from Caroline's mother, so there's another example.
Right. So be well behaved.
Yeah. Checks in on us.
So a Kerry childhood.
A Kerry childhood, yes.
And there was music in the family, correct?
Yeah, my dad was, 1982, he was in a band called Jessie and the James Boys, who were everywhere for about 2 years, and then it just disappeared. So we've seen the highs and the lows of the music business, you know? But I think he had 4 top 20 hits in the pop charts, even though he was a country singer. And he had several country #1s back in the day, so huge influence.
Yeah, they were huge.
Can you remember them, John?
Unfortunately, I'm that old, and even older still. 1982, Diane.
That's the one. Yeah.
That was huge.
Yeah,
that was huge.
Too.
You remember it as well, yeah. Well, they had a very strong image, you know, with the hats and the long coats and going around on horses, and that children's show even on a Saturday morning. They did my parents there once outside RTE, and it was a big blast there for a while. They had a good, strong image, and they were a bloody good band as well on top of that, you know.
Yes, arguably the greatest ever Kerry band. Would you agree?
Well, I'd have to say they were. I'm biased.
Well, of course. So it rubbed off on you, obviously.
Well, I grew up listening to it, you know, huge influence. Even though when I started out, I mean, I was playing rock and roll and playing in rock bands and that type of thing. So I was also listening to, you know, the Police and Blondie, but the country music was there from when I was very, very young. And it was natural base for me to turn to later on, you know.
Yeah, you soaked it up.
Yeah, I absolutely did. I remember not being able to sleep at night with country music being on inside in the house all the time.
All the time.
All the American greats, you know, the Merle Haggards, and the Willie Nelsons, and the Johnny Cashes of this world. You know?
Well, no better musical background or introduction or DNA even.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and then of course, you know, my dad was gigging all his life. He was in the army, but he was always gigging, and then he went into it full time. So you know, we had musicians around the place all the time as well. We were going to his gigs, so it's just part of life back then, you know.
Absolutely. And of course, the creative gene is there in you, and of course in Caroline as well. I mean, because you wandered, if I can use that term, you've wandered across Ireland. I mean, you were working in Portlaoise for a while.
Yeah, I was
living in
Portarlington. Yeah, that's right.
And your face is so familiar. I remember you in Portlaoise.
All right.
I'm trying to remember where, and it's,
right.
it's frustrating. Don't mind me. I'm just getting old. I'm going. You're familiar, and I don't know why.
I would probably saw you in one of the pubs there.
Oh yeah, probably Ramsbottoms.
Ramsbottoms, possibly. Because
Yes.
I have been in there, yeah.
So you share a great taste in pubs, so.
Great taste in Guinness, anyway.
Absolutely. So, hello, Tom, if you're watching this evening, hope you reopen. I hope all the pubs reopen. I'm sure that's asking for too much, but we'll see how the next couple of weeks go. And then, Caroline, you were working away in Sweden, and then in 2008 you came over to County Longford.
Yeah, 2007.
2007.
Yeah, I moved over to Newcastle Forbes in Longford to work with show jumping horses.
And Jessica Curtin.
Yeah, training young horses for Jessica Curtin. Yeah, she was over in Germany competing, and we were training the young horses in Ireland, in Castle Forbes, and then she came over every now and then to have a look at the horses and try them out and decide which ones that were ready to move over to Germany.
Very good. And Caroline, did you have an equestrian background in Sweden?
Well, yeah, I have been horse riding all my life. So yeah, I grew up with horses. I did, yeah.
And you grew up, is it, am I right in saying you grew up in Falkenberg?
Like 40 kilometers from Falkenberg inland, in a tiny little village with 500 people.
Your parents had a summer house there in Falkenberg.
Yeah, my parents have a summer house.
They had a summer house in Falkenberg, so it was a natural kind of progression to move here.
That's why we moved here, yeah.
So it sounds like an Irish village.
Yeah, it's but we had no pubs. That's the big difference.
Not an Irish village.
Yes, you're missing a crucial element there.
Well, you know, they don't have the pub culture we have, you know.
No, because in Newtown Forbes, I think it's the same size village, and I think they have 4 pubs. But in Longford, where I'm from, we had none. Like.
Yeah, but you have the cafe culture, Caroline, and of course it's coming into Ireland now.
Yeah, that's right.
We're becoming sophisticated Europeans. God help us. This is it.
And then, a lot to be said for the cafe culture as well, isn't there?
Oh, there is actually. There is. And it's great to see 2 new cafes have opened in Portlaoise in the last couple of weeks.
All right, yeah.
Square Cafe and the Wandering Elk.
Okay, you're giving them a good plug there, John.
Well, why not?
Why not? And it's funny that you mentioned elk, because we have an elk up on the shelf there. Yeah. Little model of an elk. Elk is huge here in Sweden. Moose.
Yeah.
I'll add a 3rd cafe to that. It's a beautiful village at the foot of the Slave Blooms, Clonaslee, and there's a new cafe about to open called Jam and Olive.
Oh, nice name as well. I like it.
Isn't it quirky?
Yeah, quirky and catchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of culture is coming in, isn't it? Not everybody needs to have a drink, but I think our culture of chat grew up around the pub.
Absolutely. I mean, the 2 can work alongside each other, definitely. Anyway,
so.
you know.
Yeah, I think so.
The pub culture has increased in Sweden then as well. Like there was virtually no pubs here 40 years ago, was there? There was no pubs.
No, and people didn't go out in the same way. But it is increasing. And
I mean, Falkenberg has 4 or 5 pubs, I think.
Yeah, at least.
So you can get yourself a Guinness here. It's not.
That's okay.
And is it a nice pint of Guinness?
Well, it's not so bad. It's the prices are extortion, but
Oh, go on. Tell
But
the
you know
viewers
what,
how
when you yeah, I think I've paid 80 crowns, maybe 85 crowns, which is about €8.50. So
Right.
you
50.
yeah, but I mean you can buy your lager then for €5.50.
And how much is a pint of Guinness here, guys?
In Ireland,
about a fiver.
Is it a fiver now? Is it?
Yeah, Dublin, I think, was over a fiver, and down the country, maybe €4.50. You bumped into, the two of you bumped into each other in the Midlands, and love struck and love blossomed. Go on, Caroline, you take up the story.
Tell the story, Caroline.
No, well, we met up in Galway actually, because I was working 6 days a week, and I didn't really know what day I would have off. But I was off a Tuesday, and I decided to go to Galway with a friend of mine.
Oh.
And that's where we met.
We met in the King's Head on a Tuesday night, 7:30. The place was packed, live band, and the rest is history.
You spotted her
Brilliant.
across a crowded room.
It was a little bit like that, yeah. It was a little bit like that. I was there with a friend
Brilliant.
of mine from Portarlington, actually. A chap called Timmy Dunn, if he's watching. Hi, Timmy.
Hi, Timmy.
And yeah, it was just one of those things, a Tuesday night. In Galway, and there you go.
And then you
This
came
is
to
it.
visit me in the castle.
And then I went to visit her at her workplace, which was just extraordinary, to say the least.
Well, go on, why?
Well, it's a different world. I asked her where she worked, and she says, "Well, I work in this castle, you know." So I said, "Okay," and I went into the village in Newtown Forbes, and I says, "Listen, I'm looking for Castle Forbes. Do you know where it is?" They were laughing at me, you know. "Just go down the road there. You can't miss it. The big gates." So off I went, and I met these huge gates, and Caroline drove down in the car and beeped me in, and the gates just. And we were driving a good while to actually get to where she lived. The grounds were so big, you know. It was different world, yeah. I'd say when you got that job, you must have been over the moon.
I was. It was just. I was really, really lucky to get that job. It was amazing. Yeah.
But you worked hard as well.
Of course, yeah. It's hard work. With
and you
horses,
picked
but,
up injuries. You picked up a lot of injuries with horses as well. So it's you get nothing for nothing, I suppose. You know.
Nothing for nothing.
Or well, you know, you work for what you get at the end of the day. You know.
Yeah. So absolutely. So Robert, take up the story. Where did you get married, and when did you move over to Sweden?
2009, wasn't it? At the end of 2009.
Yeah, we moved over to Sweden, and we got engaged in April 2009.
That's right.
And then we got married in Sweden 2010 in February. We had loads of snow.
Yeah. But don't forget the trip from where I bought a second-hand Hyundai Ascent in Castle Island, and I filled it up with everything I owned, and I drove from Castle Island to Falkenberg, and I left.
That was crazy.
Castle Island at 3:30 on a Saturday, and I pulled up outside her parents' house at 7:30 on a Monday night.
Yeah.
Wow.
The car was packed.
The car was packed. Actually, the car was so packed you could just see the shape of my suit up against the back window like that.
And your face like
that. Exactly.
I was like that.
Well, I said I better try and shove one suit in for a job interview or something, you know. Yeah. And there was the suit shoved up against the back window all the way, driving over Ireland, England, up through Denmark, then into Sweden, you know.
So you slept on the ferry, and that was it.
Yeah.
We had an overnight between England and Denmark, didn't we?
Yeah.
We slept overnight. Yeah. And then we had an overnight in Wales, I think. Did we sleep? We slept for 3 or 4 hours in a hostel or B&B in Wales. Yeah. That's right. It was a mammoth journey, actually.
One only to be done once, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We haven't spoken about driving back.
No?
It'll be an airplane.
Yeah, I'd imagine. And where is the Ascent now?
Sorry?
Where's the car now?
Oh, it's gone. It had its day, though.
We have the plate there, don't we?
I have the number.
The number plate.
I have the number
No!
plate.
No
I have
way.
the number plate up on the wall here behind us. Yeah.
Brilliant.
As a memory, yeah.
Fantastic.
It's 00CE 5036 County Clare number plate. There you have it.
My word.
That's fantastic.
And
it owed you nothing.
Sorry?
It owed you nothing by the end of the journey.
No, I mean, I was driving it around here for 2 or 3 years, and the steering wheel was on the other side to what they're used to, so I was getting a lot of funny looks,
Yeah. And it's hard to drive on the right-hand side of the road and you're driving a right-hand drive because you're driving at the footpath, at the curb, and it's just wrong. So as soon as you get into a car that fits on the right-hand side of the road, that's left-hand drive, it's easier to drive on that side of the road.
Yeah.
But
even to this day, I can still go to the wrong side of the car when I'm going to drive,
Yeah.
It's still there,
It's still there.
And sometimes, if I'm a bit embarrassed about it, I'll open the door and pretend I was looking for something in that car.
I've done that.
Have you done that as well? Yeah.
No, never.
Then you just go back around. Yeah, it wasn't there. Then get into the right side where the steering wheel is,
So, Robert, you left Tralee and Castle Island and Portarlington behind, and you arrived into a snowy scene in Sweden in February, and a lot colder than home. And were you thinking, what have I done? I was definitely thinking that, because I left a permanent and pensionable job with the prison service in Ireland. I've been there for 11 years. And, you have a lot of obstacles when you're making a big change. People say, but you're going to lose your pension. You're mad. And so there's a lot of you really have to believe that, you really have to believe in your gut feeling, Because I even remember when I was going into the police station with my passport or something, the guy turned around and says, you're going to lose your pension, by taking a career break because I took a career break initially. Yes. So it kind of gave me a launch pad to try out something new. And then the day came where I had to kind of just cut my ties totally with public service in Ireland. And then that was kind of when, it's got to work now for real, And do you put that down to the artist, the creative side of you coming out? Absolutely. Well, when I found Caroline was such a great singer, and we'd been doing gigs together in Ireland as well. I just kind of felt, and I knew I had the family support over here as well, and a good place to raise kids over here as well, actually. So it was an artistic influence, definitely. I think, John. Yeah. Just to not. I was never a 30-year guy in one job,
How many years did you do?
I think I did 11 and a half. So I will get some kind of a pension. I would have said that. Were you in the Midlands or in Portlaoise? I was in the Midlands, and I did a stint in Dublin as well.
In Wheatfield.
Clover Hill, actually.
Okay, next door.
Clover Hill next door, yeah. So I met some wonderful people along the way there in that job as well,
Yeah. And you would still be entitled to some form of a pension.
I believe I am.
And you didn't get to keep your medical, no?
No, I didn't get to keep the medical. No.
Oh.
And when you arrived into Sweden, did you start performing straight away? Did you start gigging straight away, or was there a little bit of a gap?
But we recorded our CD just before we went over to Sweden.
Yeah.
So that was good to have when we arrived here, because we could use that as marketing material. So that helped us getting gigs when we got here.
First gig was in the Strandbaden Hotel in Falkenberg, remember?
New Year's Eve. Was
it New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not the first one, was it? No, that wasn't. Yeah.
And then we started getting more gigs over here, and we had a residency there at the place for a while. Yeah. Every Friday night. Yeah.
Wow. So that was good to get. That's a little bit of comfort.
Yeah. Absolutely. They used to have a quiz. Pub quizzes are huge over here, and then we came on. We were on before. We were on before the quiz and after the quiz. That's how it worked. Yeah.
So you had a good audience.
And the meal was included.
Oh, well, at least you were fed.
Yeah.
If it didn't go very well, at least you were fed. So music, always been playing music, or how long have you been playing music, or since kids? I know there's the influence of your dad and all, but were you always playing, always singing, both of you, like?
Well, I started around 15 playing bass in this rock and roll band down in Tralee, and then I started playing 6-string guitar as well. So yeah, I wasn't playing since I was 7 or 8 years of age. I wasn't one of those guys, but always sing-song at home anyway from very early on. Instrument-wise, yeah, I picked one up around 14 or 15, I suppose.
Okay.
First time, yeah. Caroline was choirs all her life.
Oh yeah, the church choir in the village. But I never sang something else like before I met you. It was when I met you I started singing. She
started getting out in front and not being part of the crowd, basically.
It's a big difference, like when you're in a big choir. And
I couldn't believe when I heard her singing for the first time. I couldn't get over it reminded me of Anne Murray. You know the country singer Anne Murray?
Yes.
Canadian, yes. Yeah.
Yes. That's high praise.
Yeah, she's a beautiful singer, Anne Murray, yeah.
Yes.
And I just, I said, Kerry, you got to get out there and just, sing along with me, and that confidence grew from that.
Yeah, good, yeah.
So.
And I'm just trying to picture the two of you gigging, doing, we'll say, New Year's Eve parties and other gigs around Sweden. Like, what material do you play? Is it all country, or is it a mix of everything?
Well, I did a New Year's Eve gig in that hotel, the Strandbaden, by myself once, and that was all American songbook, actually. Sinatra, Bobby Darin, and that type of thing. And I had a live band with me that night that I hadn't played with before, and I was rehearsing with them for 3 or 4 months. I didn't want to use any form of backing track. I wanted it all live, and. Yeah, because there was a substantial figure involved for a New Year's Eve gig in this hotel, so I had to kind of get it right,
Yeah.
And went off well. You were at the gig.
Oh yeah, with how old was her again? 2, 3 months old.
Yeah, that's right. And your parents were there as well.
Yeah.
So I have sung other stuff as well, John. Yeah.
I'm trying to picture it. Is there a big country scene in Sweden?
It's bigger in Norway, but there
wow.
Country music is big in Norway, but there are pockets of Sweden where it's big up in the north. Is it?
It is, but also here, like, it's been very popular. I think when you say, "Oh, we sing country," it's a bit of, "Oh, okay, well," but then when they hear it, it's like, "Wow, this is good." So. When we start,
so they're open to options.
Yeah, and when they realize what it is like, it has sometimes a bit of a. It's not seen as the best music until people actually listen to it, and then they are surprised, especially in our generation. Anyway, I remember my parents were listening a lot to country music.
Well, all the Bruce Springsteens of this world, and they've all done country.
Yeah.
So for me, with my dad, I thought it was a very high art form.
Of course.
I think country music is telling a story. Now it depends on what artist you're looking at, but I think it's very much a storytelling thing, and I think the Irish were good at that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
you just
I think we were a big part in the progression of country music as well. In there with Scots music, and we were part of that melting pot over there.
Yeah, and then you guys put a modern twist on it. How do you do that?
A modern twist on the latest song, you mean, that we recorded?
Yes. Moving on.
Well, I suppose. We knew that Vern Gosden and Emmylou Harris did a fantastic version of it. And we kind of said, well, we're going to draw parallels with that, being a duo as well,
Yeah.
And then we got a couple of the guys in the studio here in Falkenberg to add some very, I think, really nice backing vocals to it, And that kind of gave it that modern touch, I think.
See, when you redo someone else's piece, you can be accused of doing karaoke, can't you? Unless you put a personal touch to it.
Well, that's it. You know, I also wanted to record a crossover song. You know, and I think it is a crossover song.
Yeah,
I think it's country, but it's a song that has been played on pop radio here as well. You know, and I think a lot of good country songs do cross over quite easily.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah,
so I mean,
for
I've been sending it to country stations, but I've also been sending it, and it's on 25 playlists, independent playlists on Spotify at the moment, and some of them are not country at all. They're love songs and future love songs and this type of thing.
Mm.
So I think it is kind of a crossover song, and that's what I was thinking as well in the studio. That it's definitely country when you hear it, but it's got that crossover element, you know.
So how is
Yeah, and
it doing? 25 playlists on Spotify is amazing. That aside, how's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. I mean, as an independent artist, you know, when you don't have huge money behind you, to get that is fantastic, you know.
Yeah.
It just started out with 1 or 2, and then it just got added to some more. And we're very happy with it, you know. We're very happy.
And the radio stations are playing it.
Yeah, Norwegian National Radio, Swedish National Radio has played it, and a few radio stations in Ireland have played it. So I also picked a cover as well because I wanted people to kind of take a closer look at the material I wrote myself.
Yeah.
So just to draw attention to us there, and I think it's achieved that anyway, you know.
Yeah, once you get that bit of attention, then they'll go. In theory, they'll go with you.
Absolutely. Well, it'll be back to releasing an original song the next time.
Yeah.
Hopefully, in the next 8 or 9 weeks, I'll release another one, and
Fantastic.
that was the plan, you know.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
In the middle of that, you've been writing books, Caroline.
That's right. Yes.
Tell me.
Yes.
I always loved books. You know, as a child, I always had my nose in a book. If I was sitting down, walking, or lying down. When I met you, Rob, I started writing songs, and I think that was kind of the start of the whole writing process, because I always dreamt about writing a book, but you know, it's a big step to actually doing it.
Yeah, you know, everyone says, you know, that forever comment, everyone says, oh, there's a book in everyone.
Yeah.
And there may be, but sit down with a pen in your hand, that's a big jump.
It is.
It'd be a book in me, but you went and did it.
Yeah, and when I started, I just had so much in me. So I wrote, my first book was released in 2019, and I wrote that with my sister.
And how long did it take? How long does the process take? Or do you sit down, write it, and then go, oh my God, that's really bad, and rewrite it in the form of an edit?
Yeah. I think
Really?
I was very naive when I started, because I thought you write it and it's done. Then you learn, you write it, and then you rewrite it, and then you rewrite it again.
Okay.
So the first book, I think, took about a year.
Okay.
And then I wrote a new book, and the publisher said this could actually be 3 books instead of 1. And I was, oh, that is a big job. I have to, but I thought about it, and I thought, okay, so I have that much material, so it could actually be 3 books. So I decided to go for it.
Wow.
And so the 3 books in Vänskapsband, Cora, Linda, and Amy, they were released in July 2020, November, and then the last one in January this year.
Well,
So
that's amazing.
Congratulations.
Very quickly. Yeah, thank you very much. And then I have 2 new books now coming out in July.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
You haven't stopped.
The next one is going to be based in Ireland.
Yeah, it's called The Love Route Ireland Part 2 in my next book.
Wow.
That takes part in Ireland. Yeah,
That's
so it's very exciting. Yeah,
phenomenal amount of work.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So has the songwriting stopped?
No, not completely.
Oh, wow.
I am actually writing songs, but I'm not doing anything with them right now. But hopefully we will.
Well, that's why I went out my own, because Caroline was moving more towards writing books.
Yeah.
And I didn't want her to feel any kind of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to feel point the finger, hey, why aren't you helping out more? So I just said, no, you just got to own this now and go out and just do your own thing. And Caroline can always feature. She's going to feature on the next one again. But
so you do kind of overlap in how you do what you do.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it does kind of complement each other.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would say that, yeah.
You know, when the editors or the publisher said to you, go make 3 books, did that mean you had to just decide where one stopped and one started? Or did you have to not drag the story out, but make the story bigger to have 3 full books?
Oh, yeah, much bigger. So I had like maybe 1/3 of each book ready. And they were all like, they had 1 chapter each in the first script.
Okay.
And then I just had to separate them and make them bigger.
Okay, so he just spotted themes that could be isolated into 3 books, complementing each other. I understand. Okay, but then you're going to go singing with Robert then on the next one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who knows?
Wow.
Who knows?
You're unbelievably busy. You make me feel so ashamed. You deserve every success. The amount of work and the effort that you guys have put into putting this entire package of both of you together is phenomenal. You really deserve it.
Thanks very much. We appreciate you saying that. Thank you very much.
No problem. You deserve
and you know,
it.
I mean, we've had great help from Caroline's mother as well. So it's you know, there's always kind of a team in the background, you know, that's helping and supporting. And even with I work at a museum as well in Hampstead, and I get time off from them as well to do gigs, and I get time off for recording a song. So you have a lot of people that without them it couldn't happen either, you know.
So what's the museum?
It's an art museum in Hampstead.
Wow.
So we're currently putting up Utställning in Swedish exhibition on a guy called Irving Penn. You might have heard of an American photographer.
No.
He used to take photographs for Vogue magazine back in the 40s and the 50s.
Okay.
And he was married to a Swedish woman from Gothenburg, actually, which is only about an hour from here. And when she died, he donated 100 pictures to a museum in Stockholm.
Wow.
And she was a model with Vogue magazine, and she was commonly known as the world's first supermodel.
Okay.
And you know, it's a big exhibition. A lot of security behind it as well. You know, lots of locks on the back of the paintings inside the museum.
Wow.
Only a certain amount of light allowed to be shined on them in case of deterioration. You know, no UV light at all.
Yeah.
So
so
that's what I do inside there, basically. You know, I work with sound because of a huge hall there as well for entertainment, and I transport paintings sometimes, and I help with the hang of the paintings. I help with the lighting. It's a lot of variation. So
yeah. So both your lives are completely immersed in the creative arts.
Large parts of it, anyway.
Yeah.
Large parts of it, yeah. Actually, you know what? My boss at the museum as well is a musician, and you know, he's doing his own thing. So everything rubs off, you know.
This is it. Any plans to come over to Ireland this summer?
I can't wait to get over there again.
As soon as we can, we will go.
So will you perform? Will you both perform?
In Ireland?
Yeah.
Or, well,
specifically in Laois, Robert.
I'm open for it, definitely.
We'll get that sorted, won't we, John?
We can look into
it. Absolutely.
But as soon as we're vaccinated, John, we're going to be there, because it's been so long since I've been back, and I missed the place terribly, you know.
Yeah. How long have you been since the last visit away?
Maybe 2 years, a year and a half, at least a year and a half.
Yeah. 2019. It was Christmas there, wasn't it?
Christmas 2019, I think I was there last. But you know, my dad, you know, he's in an old folks home now over there, and dying to see him again. And all my brothers and sisters are still based in Kerry, and I have one sister living in Australia, but the rest of the gang are all down
Down in the kingdom.
Oh, in case he's watching, I do have my brother Trevor is living in Dublin, so I haven't forgotten him.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Yeah, so yeah, it'd be great if you could squeeze in a gig in Laois on your way down to the kingdom.
Yeah, we can look into it, John.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great.
I did some gigs in Portlaoise with a guy called Jerry McAvoy. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, I know Jer well. Hi, Jer, if you're watching.
You know Jer?
I know Jer, yeah.
He's a fantastic guy, and you know he's a fantastic guy for getting gigs. Because when I started playing with Jer over there, and he rang me one night, and I was in my house in Portlaoise at the time, and he says, "Have you got a pen and paper?" That's right. He says, "Book these," and he just shouted out 12 dates.
Yep.
On Portlaoise there, and it's just fantastic. You know, he's a great showman. You know.
He's a great showman. A great showman. Yeah. But I've been amazed. I'm only in Portlaoise now. 21 years. I'm amazed by the musical talent around Portlaoise and in the county.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. I mean, Ireland is full of. You know, Tralee was the same. There was fantastic guys in the pubs down there playing music. You know, I mean, great melting pot down there as well. Definitely was an influence on me. But then Portlaoise in the Midlands, and some of the guys I worked with in the prison service were great musicians as well, and on the side, you know. So it was everywhere, you know.
And were they really jealous of you packing in that career in the prison, or were they slagging you, or they might sit back now when they watch this, they might go, you know, I think Robert, he went the right road for himself.
Well, you know, the path less chosen. I don't know which poet it was, but you know, I mean, I had a tough 2 years here at the beginning as well. You know, I mean, I was we've tried it. Let's go home for about 2 years, you know. But then after 2 years, when we decided to have a family, then I got on top of the language, and then the opportunities started to open up for me here as well. When I accepted this is where I was going to be, you know.
Tell us about the kids. Let's not forget the kids.
Caroline, do you want to take over for this?
Well, Eric, our oldest, he was born in 2011 in October. And then we have Caitlin. She is 7 now. She was 7 in April. Mm-hmm. So Eric and Caitlin.
So you have an Irish name and a Swedish name?
Yeah, well, Eric
more or less.
Yeah. Caitlin is, my mother's name was Kathleen. Lord rest her soul, she died 2 years ago.
Sorry to hear that.
I wanted a variant on the Kathleen, so we took Caitlin. And Eric was international, but it was also the name of Caroline's grandfather, which Eric with a K instead of a C at the end. So we kind of got the international and family thing in there.
That's nice.
Yeah, do they play anything? Are they musical? Do they sing or play?
They sing a lot. They don't like when we are singing, though. They're not.
That's okay.
At all. They like, oh, be quiet.
Yeah.
Not our biggest fans.
No.
That's kind of normal. That's kind of normal, guys. Yeah. If they liked what you were saying, there'd be a problem.
Yeah.
You know.
But Eric does music in school, doesn't he? A music class.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, music class and that type of thing. So.
They're definitely creative.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
And just on the subject of the kids and school and education, I mean, is there something you do in Sweden or the Swedes do that we should be copying, or vice versa?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe you know more about the 2 different systems, because I don't really know the Irish system that well for the kids.
And specifically, John, what do you mean? Or
about maybe arts education or music education in the schools? Is there anything that strikes you?
Well, I think music education is compulsory, isn't it?
It is, yeah, from the
Is it?
1st or 2nd grade, yeah. Once a week, they learn different.
That's okay.
They try out different instruments, and they're supposed to recognize them when they hear them, and so on. Yeah.
I would like to see that done more here.
Absolutely.
I think to see the therapy in it, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
well, they do music therapy for kids with extra needs.
That's right.
And I can see why. And music affects you, you know, how you feel, how you think, you know, and to be able to identify instruments and have a go. You don't need to be good. You just need to have fun.
it's great, yeah.
It's the taking part, as well.
Absolutely, for sure.
Well, the school system is good, but the school system is good in Ireland as well. It's definitely different here insofar as you don't have the religion thing. And Sweden is very, I wouldn't say unreligious, but religion doesn't play a huge role over here.
Okay.
So it's multi-denominational, the schools, and different approach in that respect, I suppose.
Okay. So, well, you look very settled, Robert. I have to say.
Thanks,
you
John.
The two of you look very happy in your skins. It has to be said.
Well, today was a really good day, wasn't it? We had a great day. We went out with the kids early and went out for lunch, and then we went bowling this evening with the two of them, and we've had a great day today actually. And then we heard about the podcast, and that made it even better. Fantastic.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, look, thanks. First of all, thanks for coming on. You're stars. Well done. Well done on the music and the writing, Caroline. Well done. And yeah, when you do come over next to Ireland, I'm sure you'll be doing a little bit of research as well.
Definitely.
For the book, for the next book.
Yes.
Yeah. This is it. So I can't wait. And what I forgot, Caroline, and so remiss of me, I forgot to ask, what genre is your writing? Is it Scandi Nor?
No, it's not. It's not. It's more feel-good books.
Romance?
Yeah, well, one or two of them are quite dark, but there is this promise to the reader or listener that the ending is, if not happy, at least it's very hopeful. So that is the promise to the reader or listener, that even though the story might be dark at times, it will end hopefully anyway.
In Swedish, English, or both?
They're in Swedish so far. Fingers crossed they will be translated into English as well.
That would be amazing.
It's an international publisher anyway, so there is some hope for that. Yeah,
that would be brilliant.
That would be marvelous. So yeah, a lot of things to look forward to. A great summer here. You two gigging in Portlaoise. Right. We have to get you to do that, and obviously your novels, Caroline, to be translated into English.
Yes.
And if we get all that done this year, we'll be doing really well.
We're aiming high, John. Yeah. But you know what? You might as well aim high.
Raise the bar. Anyway, and to our wonderful viewers, look, you know the drill. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the bell, get the notifications.